also,
Welcome to the ESG. Can I please get your name for the minutes?
hey Sam, it's Captain Hestal from Senior Headquarters.
Gotcha, XO. Thanks a lot.
Bet.
Vice is on the line as well, just to let you know.
Roger.
And I just got on, so I'm taking roll.
Okay. Thank you.
Alrighty.
You get Captain Gordon.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir.
Sam, Captain Bennett up.
Gotcha, Captain Bennett. Thank you. Oh, it's not bad. Huh?
You're muted.
It's muted.
So you normally wait and take roll call or you check them off as you go through?
Like that. That's
Oh, okay, you have that up already.
Yeah. So I kind of built what I just sent out there. Knocked that out.
And Gordon?
Yeah, he's online.
He is where? He's not one of the,
San Diego.
but he's not associate or honorary. Who is he?
He's in primary. Welcome to the ESG. Can I please get your name for the minutes?
It's KB. How you doing?
Hey,
this
KB.
morning?
Good. How are you?
Good, bud. Phone on mute.
Copy mute. Welcome to the ESG. Can I get your name for the minutes?
Hey Sam, it's Brian and Christopher.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
So that's,
That's Brian Hawkins.
yeah.
And Chris.
Shock. And KB. So all the associates are online? All associate members? Bam. Schrock. He's the new OCM. So I got Captain Bennett as well. He's right there. So we got enough for quorum. Oh, Captain Hepstall. Anyway, Gordon. So it's really 1, 2, 3. Don't have enough for a quorum just yet.
It's a 4.
Gotta have 4 for a quorum. 4 for
Including
7.
who?
Welcome to the ESG. Can I get your name for the minutes?
Captain Nieto.
Thank you, sir.
Hey.
4 for quorum.
He's associate.
Not primary. These are all primary members. Associates are us down here. Right? Minutes. Well, I'm waiting for Dawn on those. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So,
Go ahead.
so the Mosses who count, right?
Mhm.
Of the 4.
I count them.
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
10 total. But we have enough for a quorum.
6, 7,
Yeah, so you have Schrock, Hook.
8. Okay, count me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'll say I have 5 primary members. 1, 2, 3, 4,
That's what I have.
5 or 7 primary members. Total of 10 on the line for the call. Got exactly noon. Noticing a few personnel that need updating on the chart. Okay. Who's that?
Hey Sam, this is Captain DeMont. Hey, before you get started, I think we're right at 1300 here. But before we start on the agenda, we did squeak about 5 minutes out of Admiral Zarkowski's schedule. So he's going to kind of kick us off, and then we'll start with the normal agenda. Is that all right, Sam?
Roger that, sir. Sounds good.
Righty. Admiral?
Okay, thanks, Trent. Hi, team. Good afternoon here from Pax River. Fall's in the air, thank goodness. So just wanted to have a couple things I wanted to talk to everybody about today before y'all kicked off and got into the meat of the discussions. First of all is, you know, we had talked about this being for the Naval Aviation Enterprise, very clear messaging from the Air Boss, Admiral Peters, that this is the year of results. And I want to focus on, our community and our community's involvement in those year results. Because if you look across the board, things that are happening out there right now, whether it's, I know Trent will give a brief today or a follow-on update on this mission-aligned organization that we're working here. There are numerous key AMDOs that are a part of making sure that this mission-aligned organization, one is creating the path, the organizational structure and charts of what it should look like as we move from what was a 25-year, 26-year competency-aligned organization that was proper for the time. Not so much now, whereas the great power competition and the need to get capabilities to the fleet quicker, and the emphasis that we've all been talking about on readiness and sustainment. So this mission-aligned organization and how we're setting ourselves up here, minus competencies to really put and flush, get a lot of folks out there. The responsibility, the accountability, the direct line to product is much clearer. I will say to you as I keep doing what you're doing, and that is a lot of folks right now get uneasy during a significant organizational change such as this. So especially to the folks here at Pax River and then at all the sites out there, FRC sites that are affected by this, and really any of the other sites that work with NavAir, there's an element of your organizations that get affected by this, and you might hear and have some questions as to, hey, somebody was once 6.2.3 and that was their identity for the last 10 years, and now that's a significant change for them. And then the whole NSS, Naval Sustainment System, that we have been implementing for the last year and continue to move forward with. Clearly getting results that we needed on the E, F, and G side, starting to roll in the E2D as the next platform, as directed by the Air Boss and leadership. So, and when we talk about NSS, boy, I know that the folks in the, I think up as Flash certainly knows from an O-level reform. I know that the FRC COs who have been living this each and every day, the folks up here at Pax River and Sustainment Organization, I think Tom Dahl is on the phone today. Clearly, to get to the numbers that we hit this year, support equipment played a big role in that. To Nate and Bryant, who are on the call today, having trained sailors there on the flight line and in our eye levels to make this happen. I know Mark's up already talked about the FRCs and what they've done, what East specifically has done on the depot level component side. I think Frank Bennett's up, who has resourced us tremendously well to do what we needed to do this first year of NSS, and then understands what we need as we continue to move forward there. So just want to thank you and for the great work that's done, and please know that especially started the 26 captains in the community, the significant role that everybody played and will continue to play to make sure that MAO and NSS is successful, stays successful, that we sustain what we're putting in place. It's for us today to be able to win today, but it's also building an organization and a construct and a system that is harder to break than anything else, and that it will, we're building this for our successors as they come up the pike. And there's a lieutenant out there today that will benefit because the organization we're changing and building today will better allow them to sustain for the fight. So thanks for the efforts there. I know Flash is going to then give an update today on NAMC and Nautic. I would just say this is we are sending one of our own hand-picked, Mike Wyndham will be detaching from his ship in November. The November detach, November report. I did let Admiral Ring know out there, and Flash, I believe you're aware as well, that Mike will go out there for at least a year, maybe even up to 14 to 16 months, depending on when we have to get his training track started there to go to FRC Northwest. So solid there. And then I have been in touch with and understand the changes, and Flash is going to update the team today on the Nautic and how Nautic is evolving and growing from what is really a contractor supported organization today that will be will grow exponentially with sailor power, with uniformed folks, and what that the 1520 requirements are going to be there going forward, and how we're going to have to slate accordingly to make sure we have the right leadership in place there to support Nautic in their new mission. So Derek Tyndall, who we just promoted on this week, I was down in Southeast, was able to watch him get promoted to commander. He's heading out there in short order, and then I think he'll be a good fit out there. I've talked to the one-star who resides out there. He understands what Derek's background is, and I think Derek will do a great job there for the next 2 to 3 years, and then we're going to look at some changes to take place in how we select folks, due course folks, to go out there to Fallon as we move forward. 06 training, so I know we have an opportunity with the symposium the second or third week in December, there around the 12th of December. So we had put out a feeler for, are we going to do 06 training out there? I think my feelings are this: 13 folks of 34 responded back, 12 had said positive, yeah, let's do it. I think we're going to press with the folks that we can get out there at the symposium face to face, and then if others can dial in, we'll go ahead and do that. May not be ideal, but we'll take advantage of the opportunity, and more to follow about and with that. And then another topic I just want to talk about today, and not really drop anchor on, but everybody saw the slates that just came out, and I think the good news story is that this was a really good slate for AMDOs. 5 of our 06s selected for command, and on the 05 front, 3 of our 05s. So a total of 8 AMDOs were selected for command. So that naturally, with a large selection comes the dust settling, and then what happens to the promotion, retirement planning, and things like that. So I'll tell you, we're in the throes right now of trying to get and understand the retirement planning for 20 and 21, and really get that locked down. As I look at the available captains in the inventory today, the captains and the captain selects, we have 19 people who are in command or going to command. So right there, just that wraps up a heck of a whole lot of folks. And then if you take into account the captains that don't have their 3 years time and grade, they're not retirement eligible yet. So it really limits the number of folks that we have to retire for this year. And and which it's not just my concern, it should be all of our concern, is we are all responsible for the right retirement and flow planning going forward. Is that right now we only have 3, and we need to get to 5 retirements this year. We might have a 4th, but my point is that I'm working that still here with the team. And if you look to see, which it's just natural to do, ideally we'd like to put 8 in zone this year to select 5. And if you look at the zone, people like Rivera, Falconeri, Scott, Ruff, Mulhern, Palmer, Brown, Ainsworth, all people resume complete, that's a tough group. And then if you look above zone, there's 5 folks who are sitting right above zone who didn't select last year, who are resume complete as well. My point being is that ideally we would like to get put 8 in zone this year to select 5. So that is all predicated on that we get 5 retirements for this year. So I ask that you continue to support and work with me. I have gotten calls, and it happens sometimes when I make the calls to folks, is if I was to listen to every flag in RO6s, let's be clear, all work for 2 and 3 stars, some 4-star commands. They call and say, hey, I really like, Timmy, Bobby, or Tommy. I have to sit and explain to them, and once they understand the numbers, it becomes a little clearer to them why we have to do that as a community. We're different. We run our community just like the URLs. The area that we are different is in the ability we need 1 for 1 to retire. We have 26 billets for captains, and we have 26 captains, so it's a 1 for 1, and it does create a lot of issues when we don't hit those targets. So I bring this up so that everybody understands the issues, or the issue that the community has, that we're all aligned in our way to support that, and that we are actively informing our leadership there. It's always fair game for folks to give me a call and say, hey, what's going on with this, and I just objectively, lay out it's numbers. It has nothing to do with people, and when I talk about the good news is we have 19 folks in command or going to command, but the issue that causes is it really limits the pool of folks that are eligible to retire. So please just continue to understand what that landscape looks like. It is the community's issue to solve. This is all of our problem. I'll say it's a problem or issue to solve. It's not just mine. It's all of ours. I consider the 06s, the 06 War Room, and especially all of you who are the executive steering group of the 26 captains to help me with that, to help me to get this resolved, and then keep us moving forward so that we can keep moving the community forward and the deserving folks forward who are ready to get in zone for captain. And then lastly, I'll just end on a very good note is, and Flash may talk about this, Trent may talk about this, Mark may talk about this, heck, y'all could, because y'all played a big role in this, but we've been talking all year about the goal of 341 mission-capable Super Hornets and 93 Growlers. Really proud to report collectively on behalf of the NAE, but our community plays a big role in that on, I think it was 30 September, we ended up with, or closed and snapped the chalk line on that day with 376 mission-capable, 376 Super Hornets and 102 Growlers. And really proud of what the work that everybody did. Clearly down and in with the AFRCs, a big part of that in our contribution, which is tracked, you hold the accountability piece of all the pillars there. 38 Super Hornets were delivered from PMI events, and they all delivered in under the goal that the Air Boss had set for us, or the target that he set for us was 60 days. We turned those aircraft around in 51.6 days, so significant, and then 6 days to fly, 7 days to fly on the back end, of which we averaged 6 days to fly, so significant. Really some significant progress on the depot lines that were made this year, and the continuing work that we have, we're calling it retail effectivity, which is a lot of the eye-level work that we're doing ashore, but it also takes into account the whole end-to-end supply chain, to include the wholesale, to include the repairs that are done out there and on the commercial side. So we still have a work cut out for us. I would say mission, this is now to sustain. It's just, it is to sustain that number. It is to scale NSS, to get the other TMSs incorporated in there. And then it's to look to get not just settle on mission capable, right, but going after full mission capable now, understanding clearly what those systems are, where those systems are, how many do we have, how many are good and on aircraft right now, how many are in the repair cycle, what do we need to do to get now full mission capable aircraft as we move forward. So there are a lot of the things that are going on there, and so listen, with Flash's brief there on Nancy's going to play a big role in that piece, as we need NAMC jets coming out. Remember, in 2 more years, we're going to have 40 jets mission capable sitting in Boeing going through SLM, their EFs, and they're not going to go there minus parts. They're flying in there mission capable. That's the requirement. So really, as I take that 376 number, or if you take the 341, you can right away now take 40 out of the mix. So I would say that 341, in my opinion, is, and which I've been espousing to the team here, is really the ceiling. We're going to need something higher, or else we're going to dip below that, and we're going to be talking about an out-of-reporting problem here in 2 years. So I've said a lot here, and just I couldn't be more proud if you hearing from leadership, watching the notes go up from the Air Boss representing all of us on behalf of the NAE, to the Secretary of the Navy, to the new CNO, to the Vice Chief, to Secretary Gertz, and to see the accolades that are coming down from up above. Is that this is about getting results, and about getting that when it was the vaunted NAE, no, we're the NAE that knows now is on a good trajectory, and it's all about getting mission capable aircraft and being ready to fight a high profiled conflict here in tonight, tomorrow, or in 5 or 10 years. So with that, I'm going to stop, see if anybody has any questions, and just thanks for your leadership, and thanks for everything that you've done to make this year so successful. Lastly, I'll say, Sammy, so I think this is your farewell down there and last go around. I will tell you, just thanks for herding all the cattle here. This group, busy group with their jobs, and to corral everybody in, and the way you've been able to keep everybody aligned, keep the messages flowing, the communications going out there, and just your leadership, just tremendous. And we look forward to and are excited about your next opportunity to go out and lead. So thanks for your efforts there as the ESG secretary and your leadership there. And with that, I'll stop for any questions and I'll let you guys get on to it.
Yeah, Admiral, this is Flash. Appreciate the comments and the clear direction. Pretty awesome. We actually hit 385 at one point, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I'm trying to explain to the air boss how we did that, and I said it is everybody. It's everybody who touched one of these airplanes, from the FRCs, to the supply system, from the NAMC, all the squadrons, the air wings. It was everybody's effort, and it's pretty eye-watering. And now to your point, how do we sustain that? We all took a high five and went, awesome. We did 376 or whatever the number was. And how do you sustain that, given the barriers that we have next year requisite to SLM and some of the other issues that we need to go through? But clear direction. Everybody should be proud of what we've done. We've never done a lot of this ever before. We've never done all-over reform. What was a NAMC a year and a half ago? And so that's going to every TMS with E2D next. And then I think we'll tap on the Hilo wing here. So a lot of goodness, and appreciate the comments. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet, Flash. Yeah, exactly right. Absolutely a team sport here, and it was everybody filling their role and doing their assignments, and the results show.
All right, anybody else got anything? All right, hey, Sam, if you would, can you start the agenda while I get the Admiral reset for his next meeting? And if I'm not back, Flash, go ahead and start working on your NAMC and Nautic discussions.
Copy all, Vice. I got it. Thank you. All right, so primary members, to get started, just a couple of admin notes that we have here. Today is my last day as secretary. I'll have a change of charge next Friday with Lieutenant Commander Kenny Van Hook, who's here with me. Also, as a note, 9 to 13 December is the DoD Maintenance Symposium. Tentative on that, as I alluded to in the email that went out, also in the agenda, that the tours are still being developed. So if you'd like a tour, wait till about the third week before trying to sign up. And with that being said, 06 training was listed here as tentative, but Admiral Zarkowski just clarified there, so we are good on that. Moving on, just some outstanding business from our last meeting. Action item 1, which was the NAMC brief about scope and responsibilities for the OIC job. Captain Gorton has that and will be briefing. Action item 2 is just the maintenance symposium discussion topics. I will go out with an email soliciting those to all members, but first we'll discuss with Vice and to get a better idea of the items that he would like from the groups. I expect to see that email go out next week. That being said, Captain Gorton, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you for the NAMC brief that you provided.
Thanks, Sam. So the two attachments, I'm not going to read them in their entirety, but I can tell you both positions warrant that leadership in place. There was some discussion for the Nautic maintenance officer billet perhaps being a screen billet. That is still being talked with Admiral Zarkowski and Admiral Brophy. That's not firm, but for the NAMC piece, they 300 plus employees, and if you look back at what the NAMC was intended to be, it wasn't to build long-term airplanes. Are we doing that? Yes. until we get out of that business. But it was a training slash warehouse for airplanes to come in and out when we do ATOs. I'll give you an example. What we're going to do at Oceana, we've got jets coming out of SLM, the first few are coming out. They still have a little bit of work to do, requisite to O-level. Those airplanes, if we had the NAMC stood up, would go to them. They would fix the airplanes, do all the TDs, and it would go FMC to whatever squadron the class desk warrants. And so, again, I'm not going to read these. You guys can look at them, provide feedback. I can tell you, Mel Palmer is updating the Nautic one for future requirements to include JSF and things of that nature. So again, both are critical billets, and I don't know if one or both are going to be screen jobs, but pretty important billets to take a look at. And I'll stand by for any questions. Okay, silence is golden. Back over to you, Sam.
All right, got it, sir. That being said, thank you, appreciate that. Commander Biddle, you have anything from the Detailer's Corner?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is the detailer. I only have one note, and that's just the announcement of the new detailer who will be taking over sometime next summer. Will be Mike Polito out of FRC Southeast Jacksonville. Again, working on the timeline for him and his relief and daisy chain that goes, but that'll be the new detailer coming next summer. Thank you. Any questions? Phone on mute.
All right, thanks. Commander Hawkins, anything from the OCM detail, from the OCM corner?
Good afternoon. The only thing I have is that Lieutenant Commander Christopher Schrock has checked in, and we have commenced our turnover as the OCM, and we'll have, I'll be here for another month or so. He is going to be set to take over in the next few weeks. And I think Captain Carson had something real quick too.
Yeah, hi for everybody. Just my status here. My mandatory retirement is still 1 December this year, but I have down at PERSCOM a request with an Admiral Peters endorsement to retain me in retired status, so retire, retain until 1 October of 20, which would make me still an FY20 retirement, but keep me about 9 months longer. And that way, the intended relief for me, which is Captain Laura Schuessler, could follow me in his position. That retire retain request is not yet approved down at PERSCOM, but I anticipate it will be. So that's my status here. And Captain Simmons is on terminal leave. He's also a 1 December retirement. That's all I have here.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Going around the horn for primary members. Vice, I don't know if you're back online.
Yeah, I'm here, Sam. So real quick, Sam shot out a couple briefs that I wanted to make sure everybody got. We had the questions last time on MAO and the structure and what it was meaning not only to the fleet but for us as a community. So the two attachments, the first one is just kind of a quick overview on what the tenants of MAO bring and why we're doing it. So it kind of gets into what the operational structure is going to look like from nav air standpoint, so the Echelon 2 side. The second brief is a quick PAO set of charts that were done for external broadcasting that talk about COMFRC as an overview and what's the same and what's new under this construct. Getting a lot of questions from the 06 community and the 05 community wanting to ensure that there's still viable jobs for our folks as they make commander and as they make captain. And the answer to that is absolutely yes. There are no billets being reduced. There's nothing being rolled down at this time. So the same number and same captain in strength that we have today is what we'll see in the future. And as a matter of fact, we may see a little bit of growth. But with that said, some of those jobs will change in function. So when you look at the org structure for ComFRC, you're going to see that there's an addition of the FST, and we talked about this one last time, where now the FST functional roles both within the MRO side on the production floor and then what I call the intellectual property of logistics and engineering are rolled into the ComFRC construct. In doing that, we will have a military director 06 billet that will work directly for an SES assigned to Admiral Zarkowski and ComFRC. So that will be a 1500 opportunity, so 1520, 1510. Whoever is the right fit with the best timing will be looked at for that position. We will consider it a pseudo post-command type of job, so post-major. So a 1500 that's coming out of a program office or 1500 that's coming out of command is what we'll be looking for to go into that position. The vice commander will still be aligned as it is today. We will not have a 06 chief of staff. Those functions, and you'll see an email coming out from me soon that talk about how we've broken down the functions of a chief of staff and put them either into the administrative officer's job, our operation officer's job, or the CMC's role. So that'll be coming out to everybody soon so you can understand how we broke that up. But it doesn't change the number of 06 opportunities that are within ComFRC. The second part of that is on the Echelon 2 side, which is the sustainment group that currently is Mr. Radowski, and where Captain Don Simmons is at. So the structure there does change a little bit because of the size and the number of bodies that have come out of what is currently Air 60. However, it does not necessarily change the requirement for the 06 cadre. So the military director position will still be there. The current 6-6 position that Matt Wilcox is in will still be there. And then there is an 06 supply officer position that will still be there. All of the functionality that's in the program office will still remain. So you will not see very much change when it comes to the PSMs or the APML positions that our folks have traditionally taken. So again, just like with Grant, I'm not going to read through these briefs specifically. If you have questions, by all means, let me know. But it does get you an idea what the construct's going to look like for both the Echelon 2, Echelon 3, and Echelon 4 down at the site level for the site FRCs. So with that, Sam, I'll hold off till closing comments, but that was kind of the layout of the two briefs that I had in play.
Raj, copy. Thank you, sir. Next, CNET.
Hey, Sam, Flash, the only thing I have is add me to the December 06 training. I've already enrolled in the DoD Maintenance Symposium, so I'll be available on that Thursday. Thanks.
Raj, copy. Thank you, sir. FRC East.
I have nothing to add other than, hey, thanks, Sam. Appreciate all your efforts.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. PMA 260. Okay. NavAir. Okay. OpNav.
Thanks, Sam. Just to give everyone a quick snapshot of where we're at on the budget. As you know, we're in a continuing resolution until 21 November. We're optimistic that we will get a defense spending bill by then. Just believe they're holding us a little bit hostage due to the frustration that we are funding the wall with DoD budget. HAC versus SAC, we are a lot more favorable as expected with the Senate bill, and I'm tracking those closely. If there's any equities impacting anyone out there, I'll let you know how things come out of conference. We're reviewing POM 21 with CAPE right now, and this week we kicked off POM 22. So if you need something in 22, I expect that you've communicated that up to the requisite program office, BSO, whatnot, as we start moving forward. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And CNAT. Captain Hepstall, I believe you're sitting in.
Hey, no, thanks, Sam. So again, I wanted to reiterate others. Definitely a great job here helping herd cattle, as Admiral Zarkowski put it. But much appreciate all the work behind the scenes with us too. So, as you know, so Captain Snyder will be out there next week to do your change of charge, as will many of the other staff here and folks too. So, Kenny, welcome to you. Glad to have you as part of the team. And then Frank, since you're on, so I'll be up there in person briefing the POM 22 piece from the CNAT side. And then last but not least, so as far as the 06 train, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to make it in person, but would definitely like to dial in info if in the event we can. That's it for me from CNET. Thanks, Sam.
Roger, thank you, sir. And Vice, over to you.
Okay, hey, yeah, so real quick, I'll follow up on the 06 training. So the way that's going to look right now is the Thursday is the planned day for the tours at the DoD Maintenance Symposium. So what we will probably do for that Thursday is that will be the day of our normal ComFRC COs face-to-face with the Admiral. We are going to limit that significantly on the staff side. It will probably be COs and XOs only for that, all military, so that we can roll straight into the 06 training. So probably what we'll do is 2/3 of the day will be the face-to-face, and then the last 2 hours to maybe 3 will be the 06 training topics. Still working on those topics. Sam, I don't know if you touched on that earlier. Sorry about that, but if you didn't, we're still working on what the topics are going to be. It will be condensed because it's not going to be a full day. The Admiral, I'm sure, already has several things that he wants to talk about with everybody. I know there's at least one mandatory ethics piece that we have to get knocked out. So we will condense that the best we can, but we do need to knock it out before the new year starts. So we will get to that. Outside of that, I don't think I have anything else. Grant, sorry I missed your stuff on NAMC and on Nautic. I did read through it already, did the numbers. As far as the growth on the Nautic side, you're right. It is significant. When you and I talked before, I think we were talking about a growth of somewhere around 500 to 550 folks, and that's a significant organization to be built out there. So it's a good thing we got a couple years to get that kind of flushed out, make sure that it happens not only within the timeline, but the growth is what we expect it to be. And then if so, the boss has already talked, and I think if everything stays as is, it would look to be a ACMB slated type of position. So I think that's good. The NAMC piece, a little bit different, a little more challenging, I think. Not quite the growth and the size of what Nautic's going to be. So a lot to be flushed out there, and I know a lot of work's being done right now at PMA 265 on what's the actual long-term vision of the NAMC piece. So thanks for putting those two together, Grant. We appreciate it. And I think that's all I wanted to say about NAMC and Nautic. Outside of that, next year, we talked about this a little bit last time, a lot of moving parts going into changes of command, both at the ComFRC level and then some of the other commands that we have going on. So there will be quite a bit of movement. And keep in mind, again, there is only one NAVAIR slate, again, for next year. So that's going to stay at least for another year and let it kind of flush out to see how the one time a year works vice too. It means that everybody's opportunity for command, the command opportunity doesn't change, but the timing of your command opportunity changes. So we need to make sure that as we have the 05s and we're doing our mentoring sessions with them, they understand that. Still getting quite a few questions on why did we do that? It's taken away opportunity. I don't get as many looks and a whole bunch of stuff, and I get it. But they need to take a look and take a breath, because the reality is that the opportunity for command doesn't change. It's just that the timing of it does. So something to make sure that we talk our 05s, especially as they start getting into zone for 06. I think that is it for me. I'll stand by for just a second to see if anybody's got any specific questions that they've got for me. All right, silence is golden. So I'll just do it one more time because it hasn't been enough. Sam, I appreciate everything you've been doing as a secretary, man. I tell you, I didn't realize how much you were doing until I actually took over here for JR. Constant communication every single week about what's going on and what you're hearing and what the agenda needs to be and what are the right topics to talk about. So, hey, it's not something that you're doing just the day before the ESG or the day of. It's happening all week long, the months prior to the meeting. So I appreciate everything you've done. Kenny, welcome aboard, man. You got, I would say big shoes to fill, but I happen to know that Sammy only wears a size 8.5. They're not that big from a shoe standpoint, but he does a great job, and I know you're going to do the same thing. So thanks for everything, Sam. We appreciate it. And unless anybody's got a closing comment, we're going to call it out from Pax River. Sam, before I do let you off the hook, so when's the next scheduled ESG?
All right, sir. So the next scheduled one for everybody is this Friday. So pending your thoughts on that, if we need to have one on the 11th, over to you on that, and I'll go ahead and shoot the email out.
So everybody, if you remember, we had to kind of postpone because of hurricane and Chiefs pinnings and all that kind of stuff last time. That's why we rolled this one to this week. The regular schedule one would be next week. Anybody got thoughts on do we or don't we need a follow-up next week with the entire group?
I recommend pushing to November.
Yeah, what would we talk about?
Yeah, so agree with two of the comments already, and I'll piggyback on it, the fact that it's actually a holiday weekend as well. So I don't know what specific commands are going to look at as far as their holiday period, but that might roll into it. So, Sam, I think let's just go ahead and roll it into November.
Roger that, sir. That'll be 8 November then.
All right, 8 November. Sounds good. And that's with everybody.
Yes, sir.
November,
Copy. All righty.
All right,
All
got
right.
it.
Anything else, Sam?
No, sir. Just want to say thank you. It's been a real privilege to do this job, and very excited about getting to the GW.
Awesome. Good for you. Good vote. My first one. Nicely done.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
stand tall there, Sam.
Thank you,
20
sir.
years ago. All right. Hey, out from PAX. Thanks, everybody.
All right, have a good weekend.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Man, hanging up like crazy lately. So now you take that long recording.
So here's the thing. So